Well, the game is over. Clemson wins, destroys NC State 59-35. Hey, look, that's all we can ask for at this point. I know they were up 45-7 at halftime. Clemson wins 59-35. They put in a bunch of guys, got a bunch of experience, real game experience, not playing against your fellow teammate during a practice. So that's a big deal. But Clemson moves to 1-0 in conference play, 2-1 overall. And we'll dive into that in just a second. Welcome to the channel. I'm Brian. I'm glad you're here. If you're new, hope you'll subscribe. Look, it doesn't cost you anything. It is free. So I hope you'll do that. Drop a line and let me know that you're in here. Clemson was winning 45-7 at halftime, and when they came out in the second half, you could tell, of course, we're going to work in the players who needs experience. And they gave up 28 points in the second half. They only scored 14 points in the second half. The game was over. We knew the game was over. Everyone knew it was over. NC State knew it was over. So if someone is looking at the score of this game now and didn't pay attention at halftime, you know what they're going to think. Oh, that was a high-scoring affair. Clemson's defense is not as good as what a lot of people thought. Well, we know different. At the same time, the second half does count, but the personnel on the field and the reason for having said personnel on the field, it does matter. So I'm glad that Clemson got a bunch of players out there. We saw Vizino, we saw Pierman, we saw every running back pretty much on the roster get out there and play, and we saw Clemson. Get to give their fans some hope that maybe they've learned, and maybe they're becoming more aggressive offensively. But it's really nice to see Clemson win the game 59-35. I'm going to go over some stats for you. You know me, I'm not big on stats. You can look up stats yourself. I don't want to take away from that, but let me see this. There's a typo. I know there's a typo here on ESPN. Yeah, there we go. There we go. So to remind you, if you're watching this video, you really didn't get to see much of the Clemson NC State game, but for some reason you're listening to me. Clemson was up 45-7 at halftime on NC State. So they put in a bunch of second and third, fourth, fifth, seventh string players in the second half. That's how NC State. For some reason, I keep saying Tennessee, because when I think about NC State, I think about that loss to Tennessee. But NC State put up 21 points against Clemson in the fourth quarter. So they're making this game look a whole lot better than what it was. But hey, it is part of the game. It is what it is. Let's talk about stats. Clemson had 24 first downs. NC State had 23. Clemson was 3 of 10 on third down. NC State 2 of 10. NC State was 1 of 2 on fourth down. Clemson never went for a fourth down. Total yardage. Clemson had 523 total yards. Remember, at halftime, they had like 408. Yeah, 408 total yards at halftime. NC State put up a fight. They 436 total yards. A lot of that came in the second half. Of that, NC State had 257 in the air, 179 on the ground. Of the 523 total for Clemson, 254 was in the air, 269 was on the ground. Clemson was penalized 6 times for 75 yards. State 4 penalties for 29 yards. NC State majorly paid for their turnovers. In the second half, C.J. Bailey, who I was impressed with, I thought he did a good job. He's coming into a hostile environment. He's young. That offensive line is abysmal. Yeah. Anyway, he threw a pick six in the second half. It was nice to see a nice pick six return. NC State had the ball 33 minutes, 13 seconds. Clemson had it for 26-39 overall. Phil Maffa finishes the game, 7 carries, 107 yards, 1 touchdown. Cade Klubnik, 16 of 24 at 66% for you mathematicians out there, 209 yards, 3 touchdowns. Bailey finished the game, 16 of 24, 204 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They pulled him. They put in someone else after that. Raphael had 10 carries, 90 yards for NC State. He did that against the second, third, fourth, fifth string of Clemson. And Adam Randall finishes the game, 5 receptions, 69 yards, 1 touchdown as the leading receiver for the Tigers. So, what do we take away from this game? Well, when Clemson is aggressive, they win. We can talk about how NC State is not that great of a team. We can talk about how NC State is underperforming, only not nearly as bad as Florida State, but kind of in that same range. They're in the same company. We can talk about that. That's true. But folks, up to this point, we have seen Clemson play down to the level of their competition. And when I say up to this point, I'm saying over the past few years. So if we want to see change in Clemson, we want to see Clemson get back to that true playoff contender type of team and mindset, let's just be honest with ourselves. You have to beat a bad team bad. End of story. And so to see Clemson come out, do what they did, get the players, second, third, fourth, fifth string, etc., out on the field, get some real game, non-teammate, they're not playing against their buddies, experience. That is a big deal. That's really good for them. And moving forward, Clemson has a schedule that they legitimately, if they'll come out and continue to be aggressive, the offensive line continue to get better week by week. Garrett Riley and Dabo Swinney allow Cade Klubnik to take shots down the field to Wesco and Moore and Antonio Williams, who's having a really good season. Phil Maffa, use him. Just balance it. Like I was talking about at halftime. Balance the play calling to where the defense believes you're passing, but you're running, and vice versa. You can see Clemson win out the rest of the season. Really. Look at the schedule. Look at the talent or the lack thereof, and then look at Clemson. Clemson can do this, right? Now, of course, not trying to be negative here. Not trying to be negative. I'm trying to be realistic. When they get into the playoff, they're going to have to continue to be better. They're going to have to continue to be aggressive on the playoff, the play calls, if they get to the playoffs. So, just I'm not forgetting the things that I've said, but I am trying to enjoy this moment. So next week Clemson has Stanford. Stanford has one really good wide receiver, and that's the guy who gave Travis Hunter fits. He went out there, he put on a clinic last night against Syracuse. He did the same thing. He had a one-handed catch for a touchdown that would curl your toes. The guy was unbelievable, okay? It would just make you tense up. You wouldn't believe it. So the guy is extremely talented, but Stanford's going to be coming to Clemson. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you from someone, the company I work for is based out of the Bay Area. I have to go to San Francisco once or twice a year. I know the weather out there. They are not used to the weather that they're about to play in Clemson, South Carolina next week. And the humidity, the heat, the craziness, out in San Francisco and in that general Bay Area, nobody cares about college football. The only thing they care about is the 49ers. That's it. Totally. That's it. So when they come into Clemson next week, they're not going to be walking into a stadium that they normally go into where there's 500 people there. And half of them are grad students trying to find somewhere quiet to study. They're going to walk into an environment that's going to be nuts, that has the taste of blood in their mouth. Clemson has been running up points on their opponents. So, last game they had 66 points. This game they had 59. They've opened up the playbook. They've become extremely aggressive. That is the next game for Clemson. And that's them playing Stanford. My challenge for Clemson: go out and beat a bad team bad. That's my motto. Beat a bad team bad, take away their hope, even their passing thought that they could beat you. Take it away. So, good win for the Tigers today. They beat a bad team bad. NC State is underperforming. I'm going to tell you this. I could care less about the Wolfpack, but I'm just talking about pure football here. I have not seen a Dave Doran team look this bad. And it's not just one side of the ball. It's across the football. across the sides of the football. So anyway, who knows if time is ticking for him? Who knows if he just wants out of Raleigh? I don't know. I don't know. But either way, it doesn't matter. Their team looks terrible. So good win for the Tigers. Congrats. You're 1-0 in conference. Just continue to grind it out, beat the crap out of everybody around you, and you will be fine. Getting in here to some comments. Backups are not ready at all, but Cole Turner is the best ever. Big John, backups ought to be running sprints on the field right now. Big John is a supporter. You see that symbol beside his name. Thanks for supporting the channel on a monthly basis. You know what? The backups have had very little time to get out on the field over the past few years because Clemson's been playing so poorly. I'm just being honest. I mean, it just is what it is. And Big John drops in here. The twos are for Turner, Cole Turner. It's a blur. $2.22. Thanks for supporting the channel. It's hilarious. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Tiger Spawn. It's finally nice seeing the defense getting tired due to good offense showings instead of having to carry the whole team. Yes, Tiger Spawn, I agree with you 100%. The offense has got to go out and earn their own. Here's what I want to throw out there to you. I believe this has been there for a while, even against the good teams. You have to give the offense the chance to compete. You have to give the offense the chance to compete. Namely, Cade Klubnik. You have to put the Moores and the Wescos and the Antonio Williams in place, and you have to trust him to throw the football. If you don't trust him to throw the football, pull him. Period. Well, we're not going to do that. Then you better get to trusting your starting quarterback. And it's nice to see them do that. They also gave Cade a chance to run. A lot of people forget that the guy runs an outrageous 100 meters. The guy can run. So thanks for supporting the channel. You're a member. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. Let me see. Get in here real quick. Go through some quick comments. Rustastic. Hey, Brian, enjoy this one. Thank you so much, Rustastic. Steel Gamble. Third string defense made this game look closer than it was. You're 100% right. You take that 21 points away and 59-14. But you know what? Points are given up. Points are given up. It's part of the game. And, yeah, Chop, the most deceiving 59-35. You're 100% right. Clemson football kickoff. Terrible backup play. You're 100% right. Let me see. Stubbed in my pinky toe 89. Sup, Brian? The team looks like it's finally out of its own way. I agree with you 100%. I've said this 100%. One of the most frustrating truths about this Clemson offense, whether it's from execution or from the scheme and coaching approach, is that Clemson has to stop stopping Clemson. You have to stop stopping yourself. Let the defense do that. I agree with you. Hey, Bobby, Dem Tigers are looking good. Have a cold Bud Light. I'm off to get wings and fire up my smoker. I hope you smoke something good. It's good to see you, my friend. Jamie Stone, it's been a while. Bo Evil, go Tigers. One of my favorite names on here. J.E. Drummond, one of my friends. Fantastic drummer, by the way. Fantastic drummer. Jonathan, it's good to see you, my friend. Hope backups get better. Yeah, Nicholas Powell. Big time. But this is how you do it. You get them into real games against players who's, no matter how talented they are, that's not their teammate. That's a big deal. Stanford grads going to their home games to find a quiet place to study. Hey, it is. It is. It's true. Go look it up. It's so quiet there. It's ridiculous. Dale, go Tigers. Dorn will be gone. Marcus Freeman will be gone. And Kirby Smart will be leaving to coach in the NFL, possibly the Giants. I don't see him leaving, but the other ones, yeah, I could see them being gone. I could see them being gone. I don't doubt it. John Thomas supporting the channel. Thank you so much, John. I appreciate it. Hello, Brian. Still using caution like you talked about. Hey, listen. That is what I'm telling the fans. Be realistic about this moment. NC State is terrible. All right? It's okay to say that. You're not being pessimistic by saying NC State is awful. But balance it with Clemson beat them bad. I know it's 59-35. They put in second, third, fourth, seventh, ninth string. I think one of the cheerleaders actually throwing some pads, and she was like, oh my God, where am I lining up? They put her out there. That's how many different players we played. Okay? And they did give up those points, and it does matter. But Clemson came out and beat a bad team bad. And so we can celebrate that while balancing that Clemson still has a lot to prove. So it's a good balance. You're not a bad fan, John Thomas, by saying we need to use caution. Enjoy it, but be realistic. That's what I challenge everyone. South Carolina 864. Good to see Sammy Brown. Yeah, me too. It was good to see Sammy Brown and his hair. Joseph Giacchetta is looking like #1 ACC quarterback. I mean, the guy's done well. I think if he has not earned the trust of his offensive coordinator and his head coach, I don't know when he will. Brent Hobbs, I can see a lot more NFL coaches stepping down to college since I don't think coaches are adapting well to the revolving portal. Huh, maybe so. Maybe so. That's an interesting take. But we will see. We will see. Everyone was high on Tennessee after whooping up on bad teams. Hopefully Clemson continues this. You know what, Andrew Roof, and I, I don't have anything against Tennessee. I have friends of mine are Tennessee. My brother-in-law graduated Tennessee, and I think they're a talented team. But I thought the very same thing. If Clemson 15th string didn't allow those 21 points, would everyone be going crazy over Clemson? Beating an NC State team that looked bad? That's a great question. I think it's, talk about being realistic. That's a good one. User Turner, there you are. Turner MVP. I thought of you. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me. Clemson wins this ball game 59-35. They have over 500 yards of total offense. Everybody and their brother got to play in this game. I even think a few professors got out there and got some time on the playing field. Next game, Clemson plays Stanford. It's next week. And I just hope that Clemson keeps the pedal to the metal, continues to develop, and continues to shake off whatever it is that kept them from performing or not performing well, just being aggressive towards Georgia. Even if you know you're going to lose, be aggressive. Kentucky showed you that. So I'm hoping that they're getting to that place to where they're going to be aggressive no matter who they're playing and move forward. Folks, it's always good to be a Tiger. It's always good to have a win. You take care of yourself, and as always, go Tigers.